it added this really cool attack.
This episode is being supported by Audio Movers, whose Listen To plugin has been a game changer for us at Tape Notes. Get a month's free trial with the link in the description below.
For a lot of people, if they don't know, I tend to write most of the music, and then Pete, our bass player, tends to write most of the lyrics. And Pete is very wordy. He has these ideas that take up a lot of space, And over the course of the previous couple records, I don't know why, I gotten obsessed with streamlining his lyrics. And our manager sat me down at a lunch, and he's like, hey, don't do that. He said to me, he's like, you used to ramble. You guys used to ramble a little bit. Why don't you ramble? Why don't you try rambling again? And I was like, okay.
Does he ever put a tune to it, or does he just sends you
never.
A blank
He doesn't even send lyrics in lyric form. He just sends words. And sends like a pay. And it's interesting when you see it. It's like one-liner after one-liner. and I'll just get an email of those. And you have to figure out, when reading it, what thematically goes together, what feels like the same song. I do try to kind of keep things together as much as possible, because I feel like he's in a place where it does feel like one thought, But yeah, when he sends it, that's all he sends. There's no music, anything. There's no musical direction, no musical suggestion. There's no anything. And so when I read it, there's kind of almost a passive thing where I read it and just imagine what it sounds like to me. I try not to ask about his lyrics, because I feel like there's a thing about it where, first off, he will not explain things. But second off, it also kind of, I think there's something to that, where I'll read his lyrics and I'll interpret it one way, and years later I'll realize it's another way. There's so many double entendres that I've only gotten decades later. I'll be singing them, I'm like, oh, it's a sex thing. I didn't catch that. I don't think I could write any of this kind of music without his lyrics. Because there's something about the way that he doesn't think of rhythm when he writes lyrics that challenges me as a percussionist. I was a drummer originally. So you find these syncopations just naturally as you're reading it. And I get really inspired by that, because I wouldn't write lyrics like that. Even if I were writing just free verse, I would find some sort of something. He's so attached to the meaning of words. And so it's really interesting. His writing establishes a lot of the rhythm and a lot of, like I said, the syncopation. I think that has become kind of a signature of ours. In a lot of ways comes from Pete not thinking about how I could possibly sing it.
Yeah. In the spirit of collaboration, I want to tell you a bit more about Listen To by Audio Movers. It's the plugin we use for all our remote sessions here at Tape Notes. It allows you to stream your audio in real time, directly from your door to anyone, anywhere in the world, and all in pristine quality. And we're not alone. It's being used on projects by some of the biggest names in the industry. Everyone from Taylor Swift to Lil Nas X to Bring Me the Horizon. And we have a special offer for you. 1 month's free trial instead of the usual 2 days. Just visit audiomovers.com and use the promo code TakeNotes1 at checkout to get your free month and see what the fuss is all about.
I'm pretty sure this is one where we used the backing vocals that I had tracked, because we were basically using the same setup. I have a 47 that I run through like an 1176 and some kind of Neve pre and and I think an LA2A. And that was pretty much what we did for the whole chain for everything. So I would some of the background vocals I was doing at home, and ended up making them all the way to the record.
Would you use that for your lead vocal as well?
Yes, I pretty much that's like my standard. And depending on the performance, I'll change attack times and things like that. But otherwise, it's pretty much that. It's off screen, but that's what I'm talking into right now.
Yeah, right.
You show off.
Well, no, I mean, it's one of those things.
Just doing a podcast on a Neumann 47.
Well, The thing that we found, unfortunately, because I mean, it would be nicer to have to be married to a cheaper mic, was that my voice on the first couple records I had sung through a 67. The first couple records I did with Neil, and it added this really cool kind of attack to my voice. But I don't. This isn't exclusively the mic. I was also learning how to sing, but it exacerbated the fact that I was kind of, as I was learning to sing, I was a little bit mush mouth, and you couldn't really understand what I was saying. And so a lot of my consonants would get eaten up in the kind of natural distortion that's in a 67. And so it was kind of tough. It was like my tone sounded really great on the 67, but then my mask was kind of getting lost. And so there's something about the 47 that it's kind of a sweet spot. And generally, once we started using it, that's been the thing. There have been a couple songs, a couple times where, not on this record, but a couple times where we tried like a C800 if we were going for a specific thing. But otherwise, pretty much for the past decade, I've been using a 47.
You know, The End has the Waters family as doing choir stuff with Patrick ad-libbing along with them, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I remember them being a little tripped up by your rhythms, Patrick, as we were doing that. But they were a blast to work with. It was a lot of fun. And we were using, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I mean, it was incredible. I sat at the piano and the five of us were just having a lot of fun, me and the Waters. And Oren kept having this idea of this, of kind of heightening the syncopation in it. And we played that like loop for probably like 20 minutes or something.
Yes.
And it was one of these things where once he started doing that, everybody in the room, you know, our faces all lit up, and there was this really musical moment where, you know, as a collective, we were like, oh yeah, we got something, you know, it was such a pinch me thing, you know.